Hey everyone, Evan Siliuson here, founder of the Northwest School of Aromatic Medicine. And for many, the holiday season's here, especially with Thanksgiving coming up in just a couple of days for those that celebrate. So I want to first off say happy holidays to everybody. And I also want to bring up a topic in my video today that I feel needs to be addressed this time of year. Along with this holiday season, as we all know, comes a massive wave of people buying stuff. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas is approaching, and just online deals are going to be everywhere. And I've been thinking a lot about where we stand in the world at this time with the pandemic, affecting supply chains and shipping worldwide. We're definitely in a sort of crisis, and it's not really being talked about in the ways that it should be in the mainstream media. Mainly being that maybe the world should take a look at its consumption habits and people should, be buying more locally and whatnot at this time. And I feel more than ever, it's important for all of us to be much more mindful and conscious of our consumption as a whole. But particularly with how we consume and use aromatic plants and essential oils, because many wild plants are going to be disappearing for good in our lifetimes if we continue with the current, rapid rate of growth of popularity of essential oils and aromatherapy. Essential oils are sold left and right online these days, with countless ads, and many of us have our inbox full of holiday sales for essential oils and flash sales pretty much at all times, it seems. And I'm all for essential oils. My training with plants and herbal medicine started with aromatherapy in the early 2000s. And, I have my own collection of them, which I've allowed to shrink over the years because I honestly just don't need to use them all the time. And, I can use many other aromatic preparations for the people I serve and my family and myself that are much more sustainable, like topical oil infusions and incense and salves and fumigation and things like that, and I can savor the use of essential oils. And to be honest, I'm more concerned than I ever have been before about the essential oil market and how much it's grown since I've been immersed in the field of aromatics, and it's really kind of scary to me. We just have to remember that many plants that we buy as essential oils are literally not producing enough material in the wild annually to keep up with this massive market demand. And aromatherapy is growing exponentially year after year with more and more plants being harvested from the wild. And a lot of those plants have become endangered in the past 10 years that, they weren't threatened when I first came to know them, over 10 years ago. And to me, that's pretty sobering. It kind of makes me think about what's going to happen to many more plants over the next 10 years. So with all that said, I just felt called to bring this to everyone's attention this year before we go out holiday shopping and take advantage of all the crazy sales and deals out there that we're going to be seeing. I think a lot of people might be waiting for Black Friday and they might buy a bunch of essential oils at half price, things like that. And trust me, I love a good bargain myself, and I've been there. But I think it's best for the plants and our own way of looking at them as commodities sometimes. If we instead take a step back and say, do I really need more essential oils right now? Or do I need this essential oil right now? Or do I mainly just want them? Because I know that it can be really fun and exciting to gather and collect different essential oils from around the world, different plants. There's a lot of different exotic aromas, and I've done that before myself when I was just starting out. I had a pretty big collection of aromatics at one point, but over the years, as I became an advocate for sustainability, I've kind of forced myself to be more conscious and stop collecting and gathering. And instead just appreciate what I had more, learn how to utilize the oils that I already had and learn about, wild harvesting my own local aromatic plants. And, these days with social media, we might see pictures online of other people's essential oil collections or incense collections and getting inspired to stock up, maybe we have a little bit of envy, or we might see an ad for, a really popular plant like spikenard, with the beauty of people harvesting it in the Bhutanese mountains, and maybe that, draws us to buy it for ourselves. But it's good to kind of stop and pull yourself away, and realize that that's just marketing at its best. Marketers are really good at getting us to buy stuff that we don't really need. It's kind of what marketing is all about, right? Essentially, in a lot of ways. I wanted to collect every cent I could, from around the world many years ago, which I feel like for me, it kind of made sense at the time because I'm a teacher. I get all these questions about all these different types of plants, and I wanted to get to know as many as possible in a lot of different ways. Part of that was gathering a lot of them from different parts of the world. But at a certain point, I stopped myself and I realized that this just wasn't necessary, and it definitely wasn't sustainable. And, on a personal level, even if you're a teacher or a professional aromatherapist or not, nobody really needs to be using 100 different plants all the time for healing or, for their aromas. We can easily stick to using under 50 or even 30 plants, and have all of our healing needs covered. So if you've bought essential oils that you've never used, or, maybe you bought an essential oil that you're just not into, you don't like how it smells, it's important to think about your needs versus your wants when you see all the holiday sales coming up here soon. Because essential oils are definitely not collectibles. They're super potent tools that should be used very sparingly. It's also really important to consider the amount of essential oils you buy. If you're just using them at home with yourself or your family, do you really need a 4-ounce bottle of frankincense oil? Probably not. Most likely just a 1/2-ounce bottle is going to last you a year or longer. And if you are using that much, if you're using 4 ounces of essential oil in a couple of months, that's kind of overdoing it. There's many other applications that are much more sustainable and more healthy at that point too, because remember, essential oils are super potent, concentrated chemicals, and using too much of them can, kind of be harmful to your health over time. And it's also important to keep in mind that if you buy large quantities of essential oils, a few ounces at a time, if it's just for personal use, they can lose potency over time. Their medicine and their aromatics deteriorate over the years, so it's better to buy them in small amounts, not let them go to waste. So all in all, I don't want to, discourage you from buying essential oils at all. I just wanted to inspire all of us to be a little bit more conscious in buying oils that we know that we need, or, that we've studied before, and not just go out buying things because we saw that they're 50% off, and the marketing made it sound really good, listing 10 big reasons why we need this essential oil, this winter or something like that, because that's how most essential oil companies market them, as commodities that you need to get right now. I also think it's a good idea to support artisan distillers and smaller essential oil companies, many of which are trying to stay true to sustainability as much as they can, even though essential oils are products that aren't necessarily sustainable compared to buying raw plants and resins and incense, because it just takes so much plant product to produce them. But regardless, let's be ahead of all of those big time essential oil marketers this year, and remember that these are real living plants, that they are limited at the rate that they're harvested and distilled these days. So a few helpful things I want to also suggest is, instead of buying a handful of new essential oils, maybe just buy one that you've been gravitating towards, or one that's been speaking to you in some way, and then sit with that for a while, learn everything you can about that plant. Even if you can find a plant growing outside in the wild or maybe in a garden, go be with that plant in person and go smell it and meditate with it and observe it, and even take a piece of it home and dry it out and burn it as incense. And just experience it with more wholeness like this. It's going to help you understand its essential oil better. For my incense crafting students, I suggest people do this with a plant for a week. Burn it as an incense while sitting in front of it without distraction, closing your eyes, meditating with it, and really getting to know it that way. Feel what's happening when it enters your nostrils, and the different feelings and sensations that come up, or thoughts that come to you. It's medicine, what's happening, and this is how you get to know a plant. And when we buy a package deal of 10 oils or something, or maybe 10 holiday oils like I've seen packaged up recently, you're only going to get around to using just a few of them, and you likely aren't going to be getting to learn about the other ones until they've possibly lost their potency a year or two later, right? Which is a waste for the plant kingdom. Can't really afford that. So I don't want to get too deep with this, because I feel like you kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about. So in a nutshell, don't let the bright, flashy ads get to you too much this year. Keep in mind your needs versus your wants, and only buy the amount that you think you're actually going to use. For personal oils, I literally only buy like a half an ounce or even less at a time, because these plants are just so precious. Also, try to buy essential oils that are locally grown if you can, or at least produced in the same country that you're in. And learn more about the oils that you already have, because aromatic plants usually don't just have one healing superpower. They have many different uses for a lot of health concerns. And most professionals, especially traditional indigenous herbalists, they only use 10 to 30 plants ever, because they know those plants inside and out, and those few plants can heal every single issue that their patients are coming to them for. So these are just some thoughts I was having this morning as I was looking at my inbox and seeing a bunch of emails about the holiday sales and stuff like that. So I hope you got something good from this. If you did, please hit the like button, and also leave a comment under the video, because I'd love to hear your thoughts or your questions that you might have. But that's it for now. Until next time, stay safe out there and have some happy holidays.